Welcome to Next 2.0 on WQLN, PBS, NPR. The Public's Voice Media produces this show. Today's episode features guest host Marc Blount with special guest Vanessa Belen. You can follow our show on Facebook and Instagram at Next 2.0 Erie, where you can keep up with upcoming show promos, events, and clips about what's next for our communities and our democracy. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody, to the next edition of Blunt Conversations with my special co-host, Vanessa Belen, soon to be Blunt Conversations with Belen.
Well, thank you for having me. Can't wait.
We're glad to have you. I know I messed that up, but we're going to keep on going. We're going to work on that.
Right.
We're going to work on that. We're going to work on that. Today's edition is going to be about the election day blues. You know, since the post-election, I see a lot of people moping. A lot of people got their opinions on it and everything like that. And I wanted to get my spin on it while I can, while it's still fresh in my mind. I know some of you are burnt out about it, but I wanted to get some other opinions also. So that's why I invited Vanessa in. It's always good to have your opinion. How you doing, Vanessa?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm doing great. You enjoying your holiday time? Or this is just your time off today, right?
My time off. It's much needed. Can't wait to sleep in and do absolutely nothing.
You doing one of them Friendsgivings?
Not a Friendsgiving. I'm having my family over, you know, all the nieces and nephews, my kids. Nothing too crazy. I mean, if some friends pop through, like, hey, everybody's family on that day.
Oh, okay. Give me your opinion about the election, the results.
Oh, man. Like, all I could feel was sadness, you know, when the results started trickling in. And just thinking about my kids and just women in general and people within the LGBTQ plus community, you know, my black and brown sisters and brothers, like it's just was sad. And then just thinking about even within the Latino population, like how so many of them voted for the other guy. It was just straight sadness is all I could come up with that day. Was
you disappointed?
I was. I disappointed, angry, hurt, sad, mad.
And what is our fear? Why do we feel this way? Why do you think we feel this way? Are you over it, first of all, right now, or where are you at right now?
Well, politics can be so much. You know, with all the information constantly all day long, whether you're on your phone looking at social medias, or if you turn the TV on, the constant like commercials and the different shows talking about the same thing over and over, and the different news outlets, it's gotten annoying. Actually, it's gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't even care. I don't want to see it. Like, the election is over. Does it mean that the fight is over? No, not necessarily, but it's just annoying. That was like the best way to describe it, because prior to the election, you had the constant, of course, the commercials and all the different outlets, again, like I said, but the mail.
Yeah.
Oh my, I could have started a whole bonfire with all the mailing that came in my mailbox. I'm like, what the heck? Like, this is too much. Y'all don't kill how many trees to make these?
I got you. Did you go see Kamala when she came?
I did not get the opportunity to go see her, no.
Okay. Okay. No more door knocks, no more none of that. So that's over with.
It's over with. And I will say thank God, because I understand the messaging and I understand the importance, but it was like overly excessive this time around. I felt like it was more excessive than the last election for president. And I feel like it's because of who was running this time around. Like, this wasn't Biden against Trump. Like, this was Kamala Harris, the VP, a black woman, and Trump.
Do you feel, how can I say this? Do you feel like we lost or she lost? Why? What does people around you feel? Because it seems like there's a sense of doom out here. You know, I had to pick some people up because they was like, all this lost. And I like to remind people, we've been here before. Mm-hmm. And it might not appear this way because it didn't happen in our lifetime. Maybe some of you don't remember the Jim Crow South, and we definitely wasn't around during Reconstruction and all these things. But our ancestors has faced by far worse. at least for right now. As we could say, one of the rallying cries of this election was we're not going back, and the fact that you could say back implies that something was going on there that we made somewhat progress from. It don't seem like it to some of us, but we have made progress. So your friends and people around you in your world, was that the same feeling? Did they have the same despair? Was it for like a rainy day or something? I mean, like, were they depressed, or is it life goes on?
I think for some who truly don't really care either way because they feel like it's whatever, it doesn't matter, not fully understanding that in fact it does matter and it will affect you in one way or another. It may not be something directly, but at some point it could be a direct hit, depending on what it is that happens. But I did hear that a lot of like my young people were in tears, especially within the LGBTQ plus community and the girls, the young ladies. One, because they're concerned about losing their rights to their body. And then within the LGBTQ plus community, losing their rights within the trans community and not having the health care that they need. And I keep hearing, ever since the election, I've been hearing the whole, your body, my your body, my choice is the phrase that I've heard one too many times. And when I hear that, all it made me think of is fuck around and find out. Because you're going to say that to the right one, not the wrong one, the right one. Because they're going to let you know.
So did you lose any friends? Did you cut anybody because they're a Trumper?
I did delete some people off my socials, and just because I didn't care. They weren't my immediate circle of friends or immediate circle of family. Absolutely. Because to me, it was about the morals. So you're saying that it's okay to have a convicted felon, racist, someone who obviously doesn't care about women and their rights. The list goes on. You don't care about having that person run this country. You're okay with that? Mm-hmm. I actually had to tell someone, you are so much more concerned with your pockets, but you're broke.
Yeah. A lot of people
you're concerned with your pockets.
Yeah.
But baby, you broke. Trump's not thinking about you. You ain't got no money.
That was a hard lesson to convey to some. Mm-hmm. Or what have you, because he got them convinced he's looking out for them, and if they make money, they're going to make money. And I don't necessarily think that's the case. And their theory of trickle down implies that while they get tons of money, cash oozes in, we get a trickle effect. And just think about the word trickle, and you can see what that implies. Now, we have a kind of a co-friend here that's on city council, Jasmine Flores, and she wrote a post. Are you familiar with that post?
I recall her writing a post that upset a lot of people who wear red hats.
Red hats to hoods is what she said.
Yes.
And at the time when she wrote it, some people was like, well, she shouldn't have wrote it or whatever. I believe that's her page, and she can write what she wants to write on her page. However, I do understand that we public people, and you have to be conscious of that. I don't say constrain yourself because of that. I just say you have to be conscious on your own page nowadays. And they stormed City Hall, not like January 6th, but they stormed City Hall and they protested, and they was like asking her to step down. Give me your view on that.
First and foremost, she can say whatever the fuck she wants to say. It is her First Amendment right. Okay, freedom of speech. So if it's okay for you people with the red hats, it is absolutely okay for the president of the city council to express how she feels about those individuals who idolize being a part of the MAGA community, wearing those red hats, and comparing them to the new white hood, the KKK. That is her right to feel that way. At first I was like, oh wow, she's standing on business. And then when I saw that she wasn't backing down from what she said, I said, okay, good. Stand 10 toes down on what you said. You knew that there was going to be a consequence. Whether good or bad, there's a consequence to the things that we do and the things that we say. So I don't think she anticipated the response to be this severe, okay? where people were going to show up to a city council meeting, which the majority of them don't even live in Erie, which is a shame.
Yes.
It's a shame. Like, y'all really wasted your gas. Do you think she cares? No, she's still going to continue to do what she do and stand on what she said. That's how she feels. She's entitled to that.
And we have some of the poorest citizens in the country, and they wouldn't storm City Hall for that. We have deteriorating properties. They don't show up for that. The murder rate is better, but they never showed up for that.
Nope.
It just seems like it's interesting what people value or what motivates people to show up at public events like these. Because I'm thinking about, I have someone that I work with, and they wanted to run for school board out in the county, and I said, well, what inspired you to run for school board out there? I happen to serve on a school board here, and he came to me for some advice, and I asked him, I said, you've known me for like 20-something years. You never asked me about it, but so what motivated you to do it now? And he said he didn't like the way history was being taught. And I said, well, how is history being taught? And I said, are you implying CRT? And he said, yes, critical race theory, for those that don't know what CRT is. And I let him know that although Fox News is telling you that it's there, it's not in your district in Crawford County. They don't have CRT. You don't have it. But the folks there was riled up. In some places, superintendents were tossed and everything about being inclusive in history. And when CRT is a different thing than adding people as a part of history, because that's not CRT to tell history what it was. If we go to the War of 1812 in Lake Erie, there was plenty of African Americans involved. To add them in the story after whitewashing it is not CRT. It's just telling history the way that it was. And that's what I think it was taken back about the Jasmine situation. Now, what I'd like to ask you also, I had to answer when I was on Marc's show, Next 2.0, and we was discussing African American male support for Trump, and I always found it amazing why we had to answer for that when 90% or 85% of African American males went for Kamala.
Right.
And we seem to have to answer or feel apologetic for that more than what Trump had to be for only getting 15%. And no one was looking at why is he only getting 15%, but they was looking at us as why we only giving 85%. And so in the Hispanic community or Latino community, the males kind of was accused of doing the same thing. You have thoughts on that? Was you surprised at some male support for Trump?
No, I was not surprised. It's kind of a common thing within the Latino Hispanic community to not be as supportive of women. And I'm saying this respectfully, okay?
Yeah.
And if you're butthurt because I said it, take it up with your parents, not my problem. But
hey, that got Jasmine in trouble now. Hey.
That's fine. I am not a political figure. I don't care.
And we don't have sponsors yet.
But we will. But men are looked at as the head of the household, and that the men are quote unquote of the streets, and the woman is of the house. The woman is to be in the house, cook, clean, take care of the family. It's just how it's always been. That's kind of how we've been taught and we've been raised. And then it's 2024, and that's not the case. Like, women are and have been for a very long time the head of household, because most of them are the ones taking care of everything, because they are maybe single parents or divorced. So to have a woman in power, they're not ready for that. They didn't want to give that up, especially the black woman, because as much as I hate to say this, there's still an issue within the Latino community when it comes to the darker skinned individuals, even within our own group. That what do you call it, colorism, is a problem. So no, I was not surprised. And they don't look at themselves as other Hispanics. Some Puerto Ricans, they're Puerto Rican, but they're like, but I'm not from Puerto Rico. I wasn't born in Puerto Rico, so that doesn't affect me. But it will at some point affect you. Because when you're looked at,
Yeah.
you see you as a Hispanic Latino individual.
Because I sensed that was part of Jasmine's response. Jasmine made that response after the gentleman at Madison Square Garden made that comment about Puerto Rico and trash.
Yeah, he said that there's trash floating around in the ocean, and says it was Puerto Rico.
It was Puerto Rico. So I thought that might have been damning in that aspect, but it appears no, it really didn't. It really didn't affect the election the way that I thought it would, or affect that vote the way that I thought it was. But one thing I will say, I'll touch on this community also, the LGBT. I do believe that the transgender situation creeped in, and it affected. I believe one of the most damning commercials was the transgender issue in jail, where they implied that the state is paying for men to change over to women, and they showed Kamala speaking on that, even though it was happening under Trump too, and really neither one had anything to do with that. That's just the way it was, or is. And I think that really affected a lot of people. Now, also the backdrop of, I'm hearing it now, they've already banned transgenders from using the bathroom in Congress and these type of conversations, and okay, you have transgenders in sports and these type of things. Now, that didn't make me vote for Trump because of that, because who you choose to love, and I guess who you say you are, that doesn't affect me until it affects someone else that's against their will. That's how I feel. That's what I thought this country was about, where we don't get into who you choose to love as consenting adults. That's freedom, I thought, but it could be something else. However, I did have feelings about, I don't think LeBron should be playing the WNBA because he wakes up one day and he says, and I'm not trivializing gender, whatever, but if it was to happen, I don't think sports is a different issue, and I think that's a private type situation where if that's the rules that they make that. But if it's a public place, or someone wants to order a cake at Walmart and it's a wedding cake for same sex or whatever, I don't think Walmart has the right to refuse that. That's me. I really don't. But it seems like sometimes it could be an overreach, and I think that affected some males. I really do. Now the abortion issue, I kind of feel like some people landed on that too, on the Trump side, in spite of, and sometimes as on doing a self-reflection of myself, I think, people that supported that, they may be quote unquote pro-life, but that was a single issue that I think we could have dealt with on a state issue, and we could have dealt with it better, with a better person than Trump. And I think that issue went beyond just quote unquote the abortion issue. Like, I think people don't really understand, a lot of males don't understand the scope of Planned Parenthood.
Right.
They do more than just encourage abortions and all like that, those type of things. And I think that's another show altogether, but I think we underestimated that impact. However, I think Kamala put a lot of stake, and I think that turnout, because we have to look at, white women did not break on that issue for her. It just didn't, and that was costly. And so, did people vote for their wallets? What did they vote for? And that's to be determined in the future, I guess, or as we get the results and we look at it in the near future.
Right.
So I don't know, but I hope people are feeling a little bit better than what they were. You cut off the TV?
Yes. I've literally stopped watching the news.
Binge watching?
I just binge watch some shows and call it a day. I think that's just self-care.
Self-care?
You have to, right? Like, okay, we took a L, but was it an L as in a loss, or is it we're taking this as a lesson from here on out? What do we need to do, right? At the end of the day, the work doesn't stop. I'm going to use myself as an example. I ran for city council many years ago. I believe I came in 4th place.
Yes.
And so many people were like, oh my God, you know, are you upset? Like, are you sad because you lost? And I said, loss? It's just a learning lesson for me. And I didn't take it as a loss. I said, at the end of the day, I'm still going to keep doing the work that I was doing at that time. I'm still going to keep serving my community. I still sit on this at a lot of the same tables that people on city council were sitting on. You know, at the time I was a commissioner for the governor on Latino affairs. So it's like, you know, while people were saying you took it as a loss, I was, you know, yeah, in a sense, I did lose, but I didn't take it as a loss for me personally. I took it as, okay, this is an L, but what kind of L do I want it to be? A loss or a lesson? I took it as a lesson. And I was sitting with the governor, for God's sakes. Like, no, it was not a loss. Now, whether or not I run again in the future, that's a different story for another day. Not today. But that's the way I look at it. I said the fight just continues. The work doesn't end. And, you know, you pick yourself up off the floor, dust yourself off, and you know, you keep going. Life goes on. It doesn't stop because, you know, we don't like who's going to be our next president. It doesn't stop.
You think you're ready for everybody to be all up in your post?
Listen, I don't
You gonna shut down your Instagram account?
I will not shut down shit. If you don't like what you see, baby, move on. Hit the delete button because you don't pay my bills. How about that?
Her manager might have something to say about that. They're gonna start deleting.
I honestly, I don't give a shit who doesn't like what I post. I'm not selective about what I post. I know that what I'm posting can be taken in whatever which way it can be taken when I post it. Now, whether or not I care is just a different story. I don't. Because there is such thing as a delete button. And if you don't like what you see, you don't like what you're reading, you can either delete me or just keep scrolling. The fact that people have gone out of their way to continue to like an old post that I reposted off of Jasmine's page, like, you don't got shit to do. I'm gonna need you to find something to do, okay? Because I'm telling you right now, at some point, the new hashtag out there is FAFO, which means fuck around and find out. You're gonna be using that red hat to dry your tears, because a lot of people have been crying, and he hasn't even been sworn in yet.
Yeah.
Because they felt like the decision that they made was in fact not the right one, because they're already feeling the effects now. I'm not going to go into the details of what that is. Do your research. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher.
And I guess, speaking of which, I see we're getting ready to come into another cycle more locally. We're going to have a mayor's race pretty soon.
Yes.
And there's been a new entry on the Democratic side. Dara, I believe her name.
Dara Devlin, I think is her name. Yes.
And she's going against incumbent Joe Shimba. Mm-hmm. And I find that interesting because I, in my opinion, she's coming out of a system. Is it Hammett? She's coming out Hammett or insurance? I believe it's Hammett. She's out of Hammett.
I think it might be Hammett.
And Joe is in the PNC type crowd.
The financial world.
And really, I don't know if this is the type of city that you could beat an incumbent based off of issues. I don't know if you can tell or motivate. Usually an election is motivated by something to get the vote out. And usually, like, if it's not a presidential election, you know, turnout it's not that high. I thought turnout wasn't that great for the presidential election, to be honest with you. And this one, to be honest, it could have been better. But when it gets to the local, no one really seems to care. I mean, like, those votes don't really matter. And I don't know. I guess some people want some new blood going with Erie or whatever. Do you feel Erie going in the right direction, progress-wise, or any other way?
There's been some progress.
Because I don't know if I got anything against Joe. I don't really have a dog in the race so far when it comes to that. I know I'm not disappointed, and could some things change? Yeah, some things could change or whatever. But I find that interesting that the Democrats on that side, someone is going to challenge him on that side. I just find that very interesting.
Right, I do agree. I think it's hard to win against an incumbent,
yes.
Especially like you said in Erie. it happens. Like, if you had a term last term and the term before that, they're like, oh, well, that's the name that I know. I'm just going to click on that one, or I'm going to fill that one in. I don't think most folks really, I don't know, they don't truly understand, or maybe they don't care. I don't know. I mean, do the research, because the most important election is your local election.
Yeah, that's again, I'm looking forward to it just to see how it plays out. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of taken back by someone challenging Joe or what have you, because what do you say he's not doing? How do you run against something that's, I don't know. He's not. I would hate to have to run against him. You know, there's no contrast, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What are you against that he's for, or vice versa? So
right.
I don't know. It's almost like when I was watching the debate between the two VPs, Vance and Coach Waltz or whatever. Mm-hmm. Vance turned into something where it was hard to debate him, because they ended up agreeing on a lot of stuff. He changed it up, and with Mayor Schindler, it's hard to. I think it would be hard to campaign against him outside of saying we just need change, and I don't know if that's always the right direction, just to say you need change, because some people, as you said, they like stability, and so that's very interesting.
Stability and familiarity.
Yeah,
they're familiar with Joe. You know, he's soft-spoken. He comes off humble. He feels relatable to some degree when you have a conversation. So it's like, how, like you said, how do you run against him, and what are the issues? Yes, we know we always need change. Duh, like, of course we know that, but make sure you're gonna show what the changes that are needed with the data, right? The statistics. What has he not done, or what did he do that is not helping the city, but in fact hurting it? And what can you do to make it different, make it better, make that change? So it's going to be an interesting race.
I don't think so. So it's the holiday week. Do you go Black Friday shopping?
Hell no.
Online?
I'll do some online shopping. I don't have the patience to stand in line and wait for anything. I don't even want to wait in line now, and it's not Black Friday. So no. I mean, I do recall back in the day when my kids were younger, standing in line for that Xbox or the new Wii, or like, an Elmo, Tickle Me Elmo.
I was asking.
I don't gotta wait for that stuff no more.
There we go. I wonder, do people still do that? Is Black Friday shopping for Christmas, or is Black Friday shopping for now? Do we have the patience to buy that gift on Black Friday? Do we still do that and then wait till Christmas to give it?
Right.
So
some people find joy though. I don't think Black Friday shopping is like it used to be, right? Where you jumped in line because you needed that new 62-inch television, and you're gonna get it for $100, and you're gonna fight everybody and your mom and dad in the line because you're gonna get to that TV at Walmart. But I do believe that there is a joy for folks. I've actually heard people say this, that's their time with like certain people within their family. It's a tradition. Everybody has a list. You get this, you get this, you get this, and then like they meet and they find joy in that. So I do still feel like people have that as a tradition for them, and it works for them, and I'm not against it. Kudos to you. I'm happy for you, but it's not for me, because I can go online and just purchase it. Hit a button.
The other thing that I noticed is like this year, it seemed like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe before COVID, there would be a pre-Black Friday thing. It would be like tonight, or it'll be on Thanksgiving. And then it seemed like there was a pushback on that, where today people are closing, and I don't see the Best Buys and the whatever advertising that they're really open on
Thanksgiving Day. Yeah, that's true.
It seemed like
there was a lot of pushback from that, and I understand. Let people stay home and celebrate with their families. Like, what are we doing here?
I always felt like if somebody was open on the holidays, they should have to pay a holiday pay. That should be a federal law.
Right.
If somebody was working holidays, give them extra money. And there's some I know that's essential, nurses, corrections, and things like that. But I think they're unionized most of the time, and they get holiday pay. But I'm talking about retail. And those were deemed essential employees during COVID.
Sure
Those places was open. So do the lookout. Give them some holiday pay. That's what I think.
Pay them a fair wage.
Pay them a fair wage.
You know.
If you're listening, Governor, think about that. Just say, hey, look, if you're working holidays, everybody's entitled to holiday pay, and that will put a little extra boost to the economy.
True.
And so, what else you do over the holidays? Do people come visit?
Actually, I do have some family coming in from out of state this weekend, but there's a certain side of my family that does not celebrate holidays, but that's okay because we still get together, you know, after the holiday and still do a dinner and gather and, you know, just kind of crack jokes, drink some beers.
So what is it? Is it the traditional meal, the turkey, the ham, and whatever tomorrow? Or what is this?
So there will be turkey. I'm not a big fan of turkey. I'll eat it, but I'm not a big fan. I'm gonna be cooking some chicken, some arroz con gandules, which is rice with
break that down.
Some yellow rice.
Okay.
For those who know, that's that Spanish rice. You know, mashed potatoes, gravy. I gotta find somebody maybe some dressing because I don't know how to make it, but I might get on TikTok and just kind of learn real quick because, you know, I gotta have me some dressing. Some green bean casserole. I don't know why. I just had this I don't know, like a little craving for it. I really don't know. I might change my mind because it don't even sound right, green bean casserole, but I'm gonna make it anyways.
Green bean casserole.
Yes, it's actually pretty good.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm gonna throw my little Spanish seasoning in there because it ain't gonna be just some salt and pepper. It's gonna be some all over and stuff. And if you know, you know. And then my daughter actually, she's gonna make some sweet potato pies. She makes them from scratch, and she's actually really good at it. So, I can't wait for that part.
And then I guess some of you all will probably go check out a movie or something like that. I'm gonna give my quick review on Gladiator 2. 2.5 out of 5 stars.
You gonna do Denzel like that?
Yeah, I'm gonna do Denzel like that. he couldn't carry everything. It wasn't Denzel's fault. Yeah. He worked with what he had to work with.
Right.
But I felt like the first one overshadowed this one. And if I can compare it, I'll compare it to what the sequel to the 300 was. And the 300 was real good.
Very good movie.
And I'm not going to say that the other ones were bad, but they just wasn't that. And compared to what I seen on Bad Boys, I liked all the Bad Boys sequels. I mean, like they held their own.
It gave what it was supposed to give.
There you go. But Denzel on this, I mean, and again, I like Gladiator, the whole thing. I thought the story was interesting, and there were some scenes that was good scenes. But the movie overall, I just I didn't think that it was 2.5. And also, I'm gonna share with you, I had my first crumble cookie. You said it was overrated.
I've heard.
You've heard it was overrated?
I've heard it was overrated. You know,
it's too soft for some, and some it was like eating a pie. I prefer at this time the pecan mini. I thought it was all right. I thought it was good. No, I'm not driving the Mentor to go get it, but I thought it was good. I thought it was one of those things.
It wasn't that good that you're gonna take the drive just to get the cookie.
It wasn't that good. Although it is coming to Erie, so look out for that. Crumble cookies coming to Erie for those that like it. Sooner or later they're gonna get a Cane's, and people, you'll be hearing about that pretty soon. It'll have chicken tenders, and people flock to that. Maybe we'll talk to our boy Jaganin, and he'll open the Cane's right there.
No, for real. Yeah. Shout out to Jaganin.
Yeah. You know, shout out Top Floor Entertainment.
Right, Privé.
Is there something coming up on that? Is there any comedy shows coming down the line?
There is a comedy show next month. I can't remember the date, but be sure to look out on Jaganin's page, and I believe Top Floor.
We gotta bring Jaganin
on his pages, and there is. It's at the. Is it the Warner or is it the convention center? What's it called?
Convention center. We're gonna call it the convention center.
Yeah, because it was gonna be something else.
It's gonna be something else. Comedy, right?
It's a comedy show.
Comedy,
He's got
right.
a nice, decent lineup there. So definitely, show your support.
Okay, way to go. And for you all that's going shopping Friday, Black Friday, I like to say, look out for your small businesses out there. You've got some
Absolutely.
people, support them, and you businesses have some good products out there for these people to buy. And they will come and they'll support you. And we wish you all a safe and fulfilling, joyous holiday. And I wanted to dedicate this show to a friend of mine that just passed away, Miloskia Fight. Also, Cal Heidelberg, Nathaniel Bay, and Tiny Woods Jr. This has been a rough one over the last week and a half. All of you, rest in peace. All of your families, you have my thoughts and prayers. And I'm going to let Vanessa take you all out.
Well, I don't know all those people and their families, but sending them love and light. And I just want to say the way we say it in our Latino language and, Puerto Ricans is Happy Thanksgiving.
I like that.
We don't say Thanksgiving, we say Thanksgiving.
I told her about talking like that. All right, so, hey, you all, till the next time we meet, hopefully you all have a safe time and a great time. And, hey, they say the Elks is open on Thanksgiving, or find something to do. And then, hug somebody, do something, find something to do, watch a good game. And, go Ohio State, OHIO, and we will be beating Michigan this year. All right, peace.
Peace.
Have a good one.
Thank you for listening. Please tune in next time as we discuss the day's issues locally and nationally. Next 2.0 streams every Friday on all major podcast platforms and the fourth Sunday of the month at 4 p.m. on WQLN, PBS, NPR, which is 91.3 FM on your dial. If you want to leave a message, comment, or suggestion for the show, call the next hotline at 814-240-8816. We hope to hear from you. Come and join us again to hear about what's next for our community and our democracy. See you next time.